Let me come to Mr. Asue IGHODALO of the PDP, candidate of the PDP. Is 64 years old. So his strength is 64 years old, had a BSc or has a BSc in economics from the University of Ibadan, 1981. And then he went to the London School of Economics in 1984 to bag a law degree. And then in 85, he got his Bachelor of Laws degree from the Nigerian Law School. So he spent 40 years, almost 40 years in the bar. He is the managing partner of Banwo and IGHODALO, a corporate finance law firm in Lagos that focuses more on the securities, the capital markets, energy law practice, corporate finance practice, and all of that. And he is seen as a boardroom guru of sorts. He's been chairman of Sterling Bank, chairman of Dangote Flour Mills, chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. You know, the NASG, that's the body that supervises the private sector, you know, the economy generally, or the private sector in Nigeria. He's been the chairman of that body. He's been a director of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. Mr. Asue IGHODALO is extremely articulate. He has a firm grasp of issues, local, foreign issues, you know, business issues, legal issues, and all of that. Of course, his economics degree from Nigeria's premier institution, UI, helps him, gives him a great advantage in that regard. He has a stable temperament, and he has, you know, national visibility. Like I said earlier on, he has great national visibility. There are pictures you can see on your screen of Mr. IGHODALO, you know, mingling with the powers that be in Nigeria, the president and ministers and, you know, the business sector. Now, what are some of his weaknesses? Like his other candidates, he's also perceived as a new entrant into party politics generally. This is actually his first foray and his first bid, you know, in politics in Nigeria. What are the opportunities that avails to him? He has solid incumbency factor. Solid incumbency factor. And this speaks a lot. I need to give credit to someone, the current governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, for backing, you know, Mr. Asue IGHODALO, you know, to take over from him. You know, if that works out, that would be fantastic. Likewise, like Olumide, Asue also has a lot of youth support. He's 64 years old, but most of the campaigns I've seen, the people driving Asue's campaigns are largely the youth of Edo State. They've carried Asue's matter on their head in using local parlance. Also, Asue has huge likability. He's a guy you cannot but like, especially for someone like me, you know, who likes people, you know, like Asue. You know, I like people like Asue. I like people like Olumide Akwata. I'll speak more on that likability briefly also. Also, zoning advantage works for Asue IGHODALO. Lastly, on opportunities, you know, Asue also enjoys extreme, you know, bankability. Meaning, I mean, Asue is a boardroom guru. I mean, he used to be the chairman of a bank. All that, he used to be the chairman of Dangote Flour Mills. I mean, all the banking big boys, the Jim Ovias of this world, the Femi Otedolas of this world, chairman of First Bank, you know, chairman of Zenith, all the big banking boys, the Aliko Dangotes of this world, the Femi Otedolas of this world, they are all Asue IGHODALO's best buddies. So, I mean, I even imagine if Asue intended to run for president of Nigeria and is able to clinch, you know, the ticket of a major political party, Asue would not have any difficulty raising 50 billion naira or 100 billion. That's how bankable Asue IGHODALO, you know, seems to me from evidence, from all available evidence. Now, finally, threats, legal issues. Asue IGHODALO's candidature is facing serious legal issues. Recently, a high court in Abuja of Justice Inyang Ekwo, if I got that right, gave a judgment, you know, that a certain number of people, 378 if I'm not mistaken, were, you know, wrongfully disenfranchised, and so he nullified the process or whatever, something of that sort, you know. So if Nigerians want to be mischievous against your candidature, one of the ways they do is to find willing or compliant judges, you know, and so you find the judiciary coming into what is purely a political matter. And as a layman of law, of the legal profession, what is settled, you know, jurisprudence in Nigeria, where Supreme Court has said, whatever candidate the national body, the National Working Committee of a political party presents, that's the person. that the INEC should work with. But we wait and see how that plays out. Another threat also is federal government's overt or covert interference. Like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Olumide Akpata, you cannot rule that out. We all know how a federal government that looms large, that's got its tentacles everywhere, that controls especially the instruments of coercive force in Nigeria, the police, the military, and all of that, they can do a lot of damage to anybody's political ambition in this country. And, we wait and see how the federal government, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, how they intend to play in Edo State. Former governor of Edo State, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, is a man Friday of the president. So if the president believes it's time for him to support his body any which way, so we wait and see how that plays out. If the federal government, if the president decides to go broke, as it were, and damn the consequences, they can have their way. But would they Edo take it lightly? We watch and see. And finally, on threats to Asue's candidacy is INEC's neutrality. I spoke about that earlier. Is INEC going to be neutral? Will they play by the rule? Will they adhere to their own rules of engagement? Or will they play, server? Will they play ball to desperate politicians who wants to have their way by hook or crook? That needs to be seen. So now, I've given you the SWOT analysis of these two guys.